I'm Danielle. Thanks for joining me on my Flosstube channel, Crafty Stitches. This is Flosstube number 4. I have just gotten back from our family vacation last week. We went away, I think, for 8 days. Part of it was a family reunion at my husband's parents' house. They have all the aunts and uncles from both sides come over for a picnic, and it was so much fun. It was so nice talking with everybody. And then after that, we went on to a resort in the Poconos, which was amazing. The kids had a blast, and they got to spend 4.5 days swimming and doing all sorts of activities together with their cousins. So we had such a great time, good food, and good company. So it's good to be back, but it's been busy because my kids start school this week. So it's like we got back Saturday and they start this Thursday. So it's been like, you know, a lot of stuff to get back into, but they're excited. We did open house and we met their teachers. So I think it's going to be a great year. I have a 2nd grader and a 4th grader. And then I have my littlest is going to go for a couple of hours at a preschool at a church nearby. So I think she's excited though, because she's been watching her big brother and sister do it. And so now she wants to go. So I think she's going to have a good time doing that a couple days a week. And so besides all that busyness, I've also been busy stitching. I did indeed take a whole bag full of all my projects that I needed to stitch for the Olympics, Stitch the Summer Olympics. So that hashtag by the Naptime Stitcher on Instagram. So I did indeed bring them all. And I did actually, I think I did all but one day. So that's pretty good. Now, some of them I did, like I would skip a few days and then I would stitch on 4 projects in one day. And that was usually the days we were driving. So it helped fill the time and it was fun. So I'm gonna go over all that with you today. But what's also exciting is, so today we're gonna have one old finish that I did back in 2020. I've got one almost fully finished object. You'll see what I mean here in a second. But and then I have one finish. So I'm so excited about that. The fact that I have some more finishes this week is amazing. And then on top of that, then I've got 2 new starts since the last time I talked to you guys. And then I'm going to go over 10 webs I worked on. So it was busy. I don't know how I did it, but you know, I did. So anyway, all right, so let's get started. Oh, I wanted to mention one other thing. I wanted to send a big thank you to Molly and Kathy at Linen and Scraps. They mentioned me on their last, their number, I think it was Flosstube number 50. And I just wanted to say thank you so much. It was so kind, the words you guys said, and also just I love their Flosstube. It reminds me of me sitting down with one of my closest friends and they just have a good time and there's a lot of laughing. So I love it. And so anyway, so check them out if you haven't. Excellent Flosstube. So thank you. And then, all right, so let's get started. So we're going to go back to the project that I finished in 2020. And the name of it is called Happy Harvest, and it's by the Frosted Pumpkin Stitchery. All right, and this is stitched on 32 count Belfast linen, and it's the called for DMC. And this is kind of right when I was starting to become more of like a multiple works in progress stitcher. At this point, I only had a few, but I was like, oh, I'm gonna start a new one every month. And so I picked this one up. It was, you know, November, and I thought, oh, it's so cute. I'll just stitch this right up. And I actually did stitch it pretty fast. And it was this year though that I finished it in the hoop, which is kind of like it feels like some sort of synthetic rubber type, you know, frame. But it holds it nice and tight. I don't have a back on it yet. I just have it laced in the back. But I do plan on putting something. I was thinking trying to get some sort of like harvest-like cloth to put on the back, maybe something like that. So yeah, so that's the Frosted Pumpkin Stitchery Happy Harvest. All right, and so then this next one, this was actually part of the Stitch the Summer Olympics hashtag. Let's see, what day did I I finished, okay, so this was the soccer day, since I'm probably not going to mention it during it, but it was the goal, it was the idea was soccer, pick a project where you have a goal. And if you watched my whip parade, I had a goal to finish this year. I only had like, I want to say 50 stitches of pink left in the E, and then I added these small little hearts, and that's all I had left. So it was perfect for the car stitching, okay? And so this is called My Valentine by Susan Akey, and it's a freebie on the Aurifil website. And I stitched this on 46 count linen in the color oat. So yeah, so it's pretty tiny. It had been the smallest fabric I had worked on, but it wasn't too bad working on it. I don't know. The threads were pretty small, like easy to see the holes is what I'm trying to say. But anyway, yes, so I finished it. And then, so why it's only a partial finish though, is because I want to get a magnet for the back of it. And then I have a wooden heart that I'm gonna put it on. And I'm hoping to be able to switch it out with like other projects throughout the year. I don't have those other projects yet, and I'm not even sure that I have them started, but you know how that goes. So, but it would be neat to be able to switch them out if I do decide to do that. And my husband was super nice and found me this perfect sized washer to put on the heart, and I glued it on yesterday, so it's still drying. So hopefully the next time I see you guys, I'll show you the whole thing. But yeah, so what I did is I cut out some thin cardboard from a cereal box, which is, you know, it wasn't perfectly straight, and I'm learning. That's how I look at it. But anyway, I did 2 pieces for glued together for the actual cross stitch part, and then I did put a piece of batting down. Oh, it wasn't batting; it was interfacing. I will say I think it was too stiff. I think it wasn't labeled, so I don't even know what kind it was. It was iron-on, but I can just tell you that it was too hard for me to fold it like behind the board without it like, you know, it wasn't very pliable. So, which is fine. It worked out anyway. It definitely helped to have the border. You know, it helps even it out, because even the edges, since I don't think my square was perfect. My stitching it was a little bit off. But I feel like with this furry border, it makes it really kind of hard to tell. So that worked out nicely. And then I did a similar thing. It's still cereal cardboard. I only did 1 layer for the back piece. I did put interfacing in it as well. And that's that. So I'm gonna put a magnet on the back. I bought magnets, I think they're called neodymium magnets, are like the really strong ones, but I only had little ones currently, so I had to buy some bigger ones. So I also have those coming in the mail to be able to glue that on. And things I learned. All right, so we talked about a square, very important. Although I will tell you, adding the border helps, even if you can't make a perfect square. So if you can't make a perfect square, make sure you have the border ready. Also, more pliable interfacing, something thinner. I should have done something thinner. And then my last thing is, and I know it's like, I feel like it's a bit of a cross stitch sin, but I used hot glue. I did, and I regretted it. So I always see people using the craft glue, and I'm like, yeah, I have that, but what if it just doesn't stick? You know, especially because the interfacing was so stiff. Yeah, don't use hot glue if you can help it. Now, some people are very good with hot glue. Let me also say, some people are very good with hot glue, but it's just not me. So you know, it makes it very permanent. So if you're the kind of person like me who likes to move things around and be like, oh, I don't really like that, maybe I want to change it. Yeah, so like my husband's like, is it really stuck on there? And I'm like, oh yeah, it's really stuck on there. So anyway, no big deal. Like I said, learning, and also do you. If you like hot glue, please don't worry. I have no judgment. I just know that I'm not very good with it. So anyway, yeah, so partially finished. All right, so that is that one. And then my last one is just well, I say just, but it's awesome. I finished. This was another part of this Stitch the Summer Olympics. And this one was actually, this was for the equestrian, and you had to stitch something with an animal. So I picked, and you guys have seen this one recently, I picked Mary Mouse. This is by Brooks Books. Let me just pop it here. So this is a freebie on her website. There are 25 different animals. This is number 3, and I did finish. I have 1 and 2 also done. I have stitched this one on 28 count linen, opalescent raw by Zweigart. My needle, I don't have my Needleminder on there anymore. You'll see it again soon when I start the next one. Anyway, DMC conversion. She came together so nicely. Another fun one to do in the car because it was mostly the back stitching, like the border. I just love how she came out. I'm still brainstorming how I want to finish these. I haven't decided, but now, because I've got them out. Here's Katie Kitty, and I think this is Peter Polar Bear. So now I've got 3, and so I don't actually know what the 4th one is, so it'll be a surprise. This is kind of the fun part, is like downloading the new project, and it's almost like you have to rekit everything again because there's new colors and such. So I'm excited to keep moving along with those. And like I said, I'm still going to be brainstorming how to finish them because I haven't quite decided yet. So, all right. So that's that. And then, all right, so I think now, oh my goodness, we're going to start the Stitch the Summer Olympics that I did. And like I said, some of these I would stitch on the days we drove, and I would do like 4 days in one because, with family, of course, we were busy and doing things. So, all right, so day 1 was the opening ceremonies, and so she recommended a new start. And so originally I thought I was going to do the Leela Studio for this as my new start, the flag bearer, but I actually saw someone post about Stitches So Beautiful on Instagram, and I have been looking at this pattern for probably a year at least, wanting to do it. And I was like, it's time to do it. So I went ahead and bought it, and it's called Woman in a Field of Flowers, and the art is by Eder, Rosa. The chart, of course, is by Stitches So Beautiful. And this is how far I got to. Now this is 1 day of working on it. And hopefully you can see some color differences in there. I did start in the bottom right corner this time. This is 32 count easy, 32 count, and it is easy count even weave in white. It's 2/1 tent stitch, and it's all the called for DMC at this point. There's 127 colors. I have not really kitted it up because I didn't expect to start it, and so I just pulled the first few colors that were in the corner. I did start in the lower left corner this time because I wanted to be near the flowers. I have, with a couple of my other full coverages, I'm still in the ceiling and the sky, and I feel like I'm going to be there forever. So I thought this time I'm going to start somewhere different so that I get a different experience. So I'm going to start in the flowers, and I probably will kit the DMC kind of as I go. But yeah, I'm super excited. I love the tent stitch on the 32 count. It makes it a little bit faster, especially in this case. Let's see, it's going to be 400 by 400, so it's 40 little blocks. So it's actually, believe it or not, this is my smallest full coverage. So look at that. It's going to be easy, guys. It's going to be easy. So yeah. It's going to be fun though. I love the beauty. I love the artwork. So beautiful. Like I said, I've been looking at it for quite a while on Instagram. I've looked at her website. I'm like, no, I shouldn't start another full coverage. And then I was like, okay, it's time. All right. So that was day 1. Day 2 was Parade of Nations. So she wanted us to do something patriotic for the Olympics. So this is actually when I started Leela Studios, the flag bearer. This is a freebie on her website. I stitched it on 32 count petite point. Oh, let me get this. There we go. Actually, I have this thing today. Let's see if this helps. All right, so petite point linen. It's raw and white. It's all the called for DMC. It's basically the border. I did make that cute Needleminder too. I'm pretty excited about it. I mean, a dinosaur napping is pretty awesome. I found the pin on Etsy. I will try to link that below, like which store I got, but they have a lot of cool pins. So yeah, so got a good start on it. Such a cute design. I thought it'd be fun to do it on the petite point because it's, you know, just it kind of goes with that picture a little bit with the bunny and the cute animals on the train. So so yeah, so that one is there. Drop something on the ground. Okay, so then day 3 was the just the Summer Olympics, and she wanted us to stitch something summer. So when I think of summer, my kids are home and we're busy and it's pretty wild and it's noisy in the house pretty much all the time. So I decided to do this home, and this is by Love for Cross Stitch on Etsy. I'm trying to get used to using this board because it's definitely it's a nice background. Okay. Of course, I need like some practice with it. Okay, this home. And when my kids are home, it is truly, this home runs on cuddles and caffeine. There's like no other way around it. This is on 28 count Lugana Whisper by Zweigart. It's 1/1. And my plan is to add some color in the cuddles and then the caffeine part. Like I'm going to make the caffeine like a brown, I think it's a brown etoile, and then the cuddles is going to be kind of like a dark pink etoile. So I'm pretty excited to get those colors in there. But yes, this was fun to work on. My Needleminder is from MadforMinders. And I mean, it's kind of, you know, it was a great summer. The kids had a good time and there were lots of cuddles, but there was also lots of caffeine. So, all right, day 4 was the Olympic ring. So she wanted us to stitch one of the colors of the Olympic rings. So this is when I went for my Christmas stocking that I've been working on. It's the Northwoods Heirloom Christmas Stocking, and it's by Kooler Design Studio. Okay, so I worked on blue, which is right above the horse. So basically it's that chest that's right above the rocking horse. And I also added in that heart on the chest, which I was pretty excited. That was something really that I really wanted to put in. So it's sort of a red, right? Like the red rings. But mostly I counted this for a blue ring. And I can't remember if I mentioned it, but it's 25 count Lugana potato by Zweigart, and it's the called for DMC. It is 3/2, which makes nice thick stitches. And I'm just slowly working away on it. It's a, you know, I love these. I think they're so much fun to stitch. So, all right. So then next after that, day 5 was swimming, which had to have something with water in it. So that's when, and then this one I actually used for a couple days, not just the water one, because I really need to catch up on this one. It's the Arctic Animals Stitch Along by Frosted Pumpkin Stitchery. So it's 28 count linen, Nocturne by Picture This Plus. And it's all the called for DMC. It's the kitted, or like the recommended fabric. And I basically, so when I first stitched on it, the day I'm telling you about for swimming, I did like this area, the white. And then sadly, I stitched the top white part up here 3 stitches off. And I had done the whole thing. It was really sad. So I had to frog the whole thing, at least, you know, that whole top area, and start over. So it was kind of frustrating. So then it set me back, but I picked it up again for the gymnastics day, which was pick your favorite designer, which, you know, by far I had the most Frosted Pumpkin Stitchery whips or works in progress, you know, so I figured, you know what, they've got to be my favorite. So so then I got back to it and I was able to fill back in that top white part, and then I gave the caribou his feet. Those are those cute little black black things on the top. So I was pretty excited to do that. Now, because of the Olympic stitching, I would like to, I'm blaming it on that, but I'm not sure that anything would be different. Let me point out that out. But I was not able to finish the caribou before the end of like the, you know, the third clue. So the fourth clue came out, and it's puffins. Oh, they're so cute. I can't wait to get to them. But I'm starting to feel like it's, instead of a stitch along, I'm now starting along. So, which is totally fine. But I have really enjoyed stitching on that. I love the fabric. Really nice to stitch on. So that was 2 days I spent on that one. And then the next day was cycling, and that was day 6. And it was something that had something round in it. So and this is another one I did 2 days on. So I did it for something round, and I also did it for, let's see, it was something about buildings. Oh yeah, the Olympic Village. It had to have like a building in it. So this has a castle. This is the Castle Homecoming by Frosted Pumpkin Stitchery. This was a Sal. I think it was last year's Sal. So I stitched this one for something round because I worked on the sun right here. So it's round. It's poking out from behind a cloud. So that was neat to get started in the middle, you know, like the actual project. And then I also worked on it for the project that had a house or building, because eventually you'll see a castle, just not anytime soon. So, but yeah, this is another fun one to work on. I just love the colors. I love the fabric. The fabric is 32 count Jack Frost by Seraphim Fabrics, and it's called for DMC, and there's some, I believe, some classic colorworks in it too. There's 2 colors. And the cute little Chihuahua Needleminder, I made that from, I had a pack of buttons. I don't know if they were old. I don't even, honestly, they might have been my mom's, but I made them into a Needleminder. So I love Chihuahuas. That's why he shows up in my pictures a lot. So, all right, so that was 2 days on that one. Then the next day was the marathon, and so it's the oldest whip I had, which thankfully this one has seen a lot of work lately. Like, I'm so proud. Like, I've seen it so often, and I hadn't brought this one out in a long time, so I'm really happy to see it get some work. This is At You by Dimensions. It was a kit that I bought back in probably 2013, no, probably even earlier than that, like 2009. That would be 2008, somewhere in that range. I started it in 2013, but I never worked on it very much until recently. So this is on 14 count Eder. The artwork is by Brett Longley. And so what I did, last time I had finished the spots. This time I worked here in the shadow. I'm just trying to get all that stuff on the bottom done so that I can get up to his face. That's the bottom line. So he's so cute. So yeah, so that one, you know, like I said, I'm so glad I've been seeing it a lot more lately. The next day was beach volleyball. And so this was something with more than one person in it. And so this is another project that I have really wanted to work on lately. My projects are getting a little mixed up. I can see now why other floss tubers are like, it's quite a mess. And it's hard to keep all these projects organized. All right, so yeah, oh, here we go. Okay, we got it. Oh, yeah, so another one. Super glad to be pulling this one out. It's the Chibi Disney Princesses. It's by Antique Stitch. They're no longer on Etsy. So unfortunately this pattern is no longer available, but it's 28 count Lugana. The color is Delphinium by Fabric Flair. And this one is for my daughter. She picked this one out when, I think I've told you guys, when she was 4. Now she's 9. So, and then this time I really focused all my work on Belle. And so all that's missing from her is the black outline in her eyes. So she's almost done. I think I ran out of 310 while I was on vacation. So I was like really hoping to finish her, and I was like, ah. So, all right, so yeah, so that was that. The next day was rowing, which basically just stitch on something that has a row. And I picked Coffee First by Luminous Fiber Arts. And so this is, fabric is Fiber on a Whim, 40 count linen, and it's in the color Slate. And it's all the called for fancy floss. And basically I believe I had the purple flowers. I added the stem and the leaf here, and then this really pretty flower. And I also worked a little bit on the border, just bringing it down a little bit. I was happy to get that flower in. I love putting more colors into things so you can start to see them come to life. So, all right. And then the next thing I did was synchronized swimming. So this was something, either it had to be like a stitch along, or recommended by another stitcher. So this is kind of both for me. Let me see if I can. So this is the Magic Kingdom Sal by Cunning Cross Stitch. It is a freebie on his website, which I believe is cunningcrossstitch.co.uk, which I'll list below. This is 32 count, picture this, plus linen in the color Petals, and it's all the called for DMC. So I did start it along. I did. In January of 2021, I started on New Year's Day, and I got through, I think I'm on the 5th clue. Is that right? 1, 2, oh, I'm on the 4th clue. So, and then the reason I say it was both is because my friend Emily, which is Stitching Mama Emily on YouTube, she was like, she actually told me about the Harry Potter project that he has. And so that's how I found out about it. And then she was like, I think they're doing a Disney one. And I was like, oh, I have to do that one. So, but basically, it's so neat that it turns out looking like the castle. To this time, I stitched mostly, I'm sorry I didn't point it out, but I stitched on the rose down here, right here. And then I put in the, this is the ballroom where the Beauty and the Beast are dancing. So I think left is basically the Beauty and the Beast to add in. So that's what I worked on. And then the next one is Tiana. So I'm looking forward to that one. It's cute. So you can still find that one on his website. All right, and then the next day was weightlifting, and it was something I couldn't wait to work on. So something I've been thinking about since I restarted it was Pandemic by Long Dog Samplers. And I had originally started this on a 32 count piece of fabric, but I just didn't really like the color, and I also kind of felt like it was too big, like just for the project. So I decided to switch it to, this is a 36 count linen by Atomic Ranch in the color Serenity. And I'm using Mulberry colorway of silk by Mrs. Sada's on Etsy. And since I've restarted it, I'm just so excited about it. I keep thinking, I'm like, oh my God, I just want to get more done on it. So this is one of the ones that didn't get as much work on while I was gone. I basically just worked on these triangles up here. I think I got a few threads in. It was the last project I worked on our way to the hotel. So it just didn't get as much time. But I do love it. I got this cute little Needleminder at Keepsakes when I was at StitchCon in June. So cute. 310, their cat. So I'm still so happy with my fabric choice for this one. So, All right. And then, so then the closing ceremonies was supposed to be a planned finish for 2024. And for that, I picked the Mill Hill kit that I've been working on. It's a smaller one. So this is Santa Paws by Mill Hill. And oh, it was like, and it's missing. I couldn't find it in the bag. And that's because I had put it on this so you guys could see it better. Okay, because it's hard to see with white behind it. Oh yeah, that's much better. So yeah, so I'm working on the paw, around like the outer paw. The actual center big part of the paw is done, except for beads. So that part is stitched. I just got to do the toes. And this was a kit completely provided with like the threads and the beads and everything. And I'm really hoping to finish it for Christmas this year. So it's really coming along. All right. So that was all my projects. That was a lot of projects I did. I still can't believe I managed to fit them all in one bag too. I was pretty excited. I don't think I told my husband. I was just like, the whole bag's coming, and then I just put it in the front seat, like right by my feet. Basically took up all my feet space, but that's okay because it's worth it. It's not often that I get uninterrupted stitching time. Well, as much as you can in the car. So it was really nice. I did not buy any haul this week. There was, especially since we were on vacation, but I did look for cross stitch stores in the areas where we were, and there were none. So if we go somewhere and if I can find a cross stitch store nearby, I will absolutely stop. And then, so my plans coming up, I think the most important thing for me over the next two weeks is going to be stitching what I want to stitch. I think it was neat to have the structure of Stitch the Summer Olympics and have all the projects, but sometimes I like to just stick with a project for a day or two or three, or you know, I just like to. I don't even plan. I just pick up. I'm like, today I feel like stitching this, and that's what I pick up. So I'm looking forward to getting back to that. I haven't started it yet, but I do want to do the Mill Hill Mondays to kind of get work on both the Santa Paws, and I have another one, I think it's called Camping Out. So that would be nice. And then the other thing I have kind of in the back of my mind is my Whip Go board from 2022. Still trying to finish it. So I've got all the, like, if I can catch up a little bit, that would be awesome. And a lot of the numbers that are called are actually my daughter's project with the chibi princesses for Disney or whatever. So that would be really nice to work on that one this month as well. So those are kind of my thoughts. You know, it's funny because the kids are starting school and they always give you the paper at the beginning of the year, like, oh, this teacher likes this color and she likes this drink, or he or she. And I was like, I've got to start thinking about teacher gifts. And I do usually try to stitch a holiday cross stitch project for each teacher. And they're usually like, you know, a pillow or an ornament. But this year I will have 3. So 3 teachers. And I'm like, wow, that's a lot. So if I'm going to do that, I need to start thinking now. Although, you know, to be honest, even if I don't stitch anything, I still need to start thinking about Christmas gifts or holiday gifts now, because it's a lot easier to do it in October and November than waiting until last minute. So anyway, so just some things that I've been thinking about. I hope you enjoyed going through all my projects with me. I certainly enjoyed stitching on them and sharing them with you guys. I'm so thankful that you guys decided to join me today. And I hope you all have a wonderful 2 weeks and happy stitching.